Sunday, March 17th, Miss Tabitha James came and gave a very inspirational and motivational speech. She spoke of her college experience, and what impressed me most was her realness and willingness to tell the truth. She spoke from her heart and gave me a different perspective of what to expect once I begin my college career. I enjoyed her presentation and was very moved by all that she told me.
It was great to have Ms. Tabitha visit our CAP program hosted by the local AKA chapter. She shared insight about college and life. She didn't only share positive things, but also shared tough stuff and was open to answer any of our questions. She encouraged us to set goals and make connections, even as a freshman. She had a lot of information that could really help any student.
All right, y'all. All right, I need two people to come up here and read the theirs. All right. And then you have to be yours too, because you're the only guys like in the picture. Stand up there.
I wrote more than 5. I want to be on the dean's list, have a high GPA, find myself, meet new people, have fun, become a part of the student government association, become a student ambassador.
Okay. For mine, I want to be on the have every on road my first year, be on the debate team, cheerleading team, be a part of the honor society, meet new people by joining or creating study groups, go to a wild, fun party, and I also want to go to Starbucks about every day to get a white chocolate mocha.
Mine is keeping the GPA above, and their starting spot on 14. Dean's list, become a successful student in the HTC Honor Scholars, go to Puerto Rico for spring break, and go to love parties.
Okay. All right, good job. So, like I said, I challenge you to stay steadfast to those goals. Even the one about going to a party. I actually encourage parties, but doing it with balance. You don't need to be at every party, but I do encourage you going to some, because to know that whether you like it or not, you got to do it. That's with anything. That's partying, that's study groups. Study groups might not be a thing. Studying independently might be your thing, or studying in office hours with professors, which is something that's a little different than high school. Professors open up time where you can go in and talk to them about maybe something that you didn't understand during the lecture, or something that you had to read and you didn't understand. So maybe that's the way you like to study. So you kind of have to try things. And so I encourage partying, because you have 4 years of preparatory life before you kind of jump into another sector of life. So if you don't party then you might be married with kids and trying to figure out whether you want to go to a party or not. And I'd rather you go to the party at 18 or 19 than 29 or 30. Okay? So yeah, I encourage a few of them, but be safe, be cognitive of your surroundings. Look, if you decide to drink, hopefully that's not in the first year, but I'll be realistic. I know that it happens. So if you decide to do it, make sure that you're aware of what you're drinking. You're paying attention to what you're drinking. You're paying attention to the people that you go out with. So I used to plan when I would go out to parties, but I only went out to parties with the people that I would be in the library with. Because we don't have a reason to party if we're not achieving anything. All right, everybody made A's. We're about to do something at the house. Or, everybody joined a new organization. We're about to do something. So I made sure that I was surrounded with people who wanted to win. My first week at Coastal, this man said, look at the person to the left and look at the person to the right. Only 1 out of the 3 of y'all will be here next semester. And I was like, man, he's joking. All of us gonna be here. We all gonna make it. And he was like, and if all 3 of y'all are here next semester, 2 of the 3 won't be here at the end of the year. I'm like, I'm 18. So I don't know anything about statistics and research and all this stuff that this man knows what he's talking about. I'm like, he kidding. We all gonna be here. We was at orientation together. We gonna be here to the end. This is awesome. One girl left in December for Christmas break, never came back. Financial problems. The guy that was on the side of me never came back. He had a 1.4 at the end of our second semester of freshman year. Simply from not setting goals and making good decisions and being surrounded by the right people. So I'm not standing to say I did all great things at Coastal, but I figured out who my people were that were going to hold me accountable to when I was doing the wrong things. They're like, Tab, I don't know what you got going on, girl, but you ready to work. I ain't see you in class. So hanging around with the right people helps you to achieve those goals that you decided to make. Getting into groups, organizations, don't talk to everybody that's from a small town. Connect with people who might be from a big city. expose yourself, learn things, travel with people. Be safe while you're doing it, but the more you're exposed, the more you learn. You learn a lot in class, you learn a lot in books, you learn a lot in research, but you learn more from experiences. So getting involved is very important in that first year because it helps you to connect with people that you may have not walked up and been like, hey girl, I just want to be your friend because your nails was pretty. Or hey girl, I heard you say something in that in the class and I really want to be your friend. Like, who really walks up to people to make friends that way? I mean, some people. But if you're not as extroverted or as just automatically outgoing, that may not be your way to connect. But if you're in an organization with someone and you decide to sit beside them, that's a good way to keep connected. If you see someone that's majoring in the same thing that you're majoring in, that's a great way to get connected. Or making those connections with people that are also from small towns or different areas saying, hey girl, like I know the struggle, because it's not going to be easy. You'll be in classes with people that took things that you can't even pronounce. You'll be in classes with people that are like, oh, I already got 10 passport stamps, and you like, I don't even have a passport. Sometimes you'll feel inferior. The guy across the hall from me, he was a PGA major, which is golf management. He drove a 2009 Mercedes in 2009. Like, he just had it like that. And the guy in the room right next to them, his parents, like he was just in college so that he could go back home to run his parents' corporation. Like, there will be people that will sometimes make you feel inferior, but that doesn't mean that you're not supposed to be there. That doesn't mean that you're less adequate just because you didn't come from what they come from. If anything, if any type of struggle that you went through, it sometimes makes you work a little bit harder because you want to figure out how you can provide that for the next generation. So while you're there, don't let anyone make you feel like you're less than or that you shouldn't be there, because if you weren't supposed to be there, you wouldn't be there, right? So I want you to go in with the mindset of like, I'm supposed to be here. I know what I'm here for. And Jaleisha said something about wanting to find myself, wanting to learn yourself. So this is an opportunity for you to become a whole different person if you want to, right? And I mean that in a positive way, and there may be some negative things that lead you to get there, but mommy's not there to wake you up to go to class. You know, you may or may not have, like, you might have responsibilities at home that you're not going to have anymore. You might have to take care of little kids at home, or you might have to help mom out at home, but you might have to go to school and be on your own and make your own decisions. So make smart decisions, but realize that this is an opportunity for you to start becoming the adult that you want to be. Of most of the people that I know that are successful, I'm 27. I know I don't look like it, but I'm 27, so I'm inching towards 30. And most of my friends that are highly successful are the ones who made decisions when we were 16, 17, and 18 that they wanted to win. Whatever win meant. One of my mentees this week, her friends were in Miami spring break. She went to 2 conferences and sat in legislative meetings in Conway to learn more so that she could be prepared for her career because she's getting ready to graduate. And someone offered her an opportunity. You have the rest of your life to go to Miami. You can't, some of the people that were in Miami can't even afford to be there. Or don't even know what they're going to do in a few months when they get ready to graduate, but they didn't take the opportunity to go to the conference or to go sit in the meetings or to network. They decided to go to Miami. I'm not knocking Miami. I used to live in South Florida. It's very fun, but I never went on a spring break trip. I used my spring breaks to work or to volunteer or to do internships or to do something that was going to help me be a better adult, because I've seen a lot of adults struggle. Raise your hand if you've ever heard someone, and you don't have to say who the person is, say, I hate my job. I can't stand my, like, why did this happen to me? Why do I have to go to work? You don't want to be that type of adult. You want to be the type of adult that when you wake up to go to work, you're excited. You're happy because you're doing what you love. You're doing what you sacrificed, how many ever years of school you're about to embark on, whether that's 4, 6, 8, or whether you go for 4 and you decide to do something different. Whatever it is that you're about to decide, don't waste that sacrifice. I wake up every single morning, y'all, and I kid you not, I'm not just saying this because I'm talking to y'all. I wake up every morning excited to live because I feel like I made some great decisions to set myself up for greatness. My life is not perfect. I'm not rich yet, but I am able to make decisions that I look at some of my peers, even people that are twice my age, they don't get to make. I've been able to see some things that I, as a little girl from Lakeview who used to get in trouble and used to pop off, that I get to do things that I never imagined doing simply because at 17, 18, and 19, I made decisions that I wanted better. I saw people who had something that was called financial freedom. And I was like, what the heck does that mean? And it really means, financial freedom would mean you can just go swipe that card whenever you want, right? But beyond that, being able to say I went to work or I did work, and now that money is making money for me. And so after I pay my bills, I'm not like, well, I can't do nothing. I can't buy a burger. I can't do anything. After you pay your bills, you're able to buy a hamburger, buy a steak, buy some lamb chops. You're able to go on trips. You're able to buy clothes. And you don't regret those decisions after you make them. I think that I'm trying to put myself in a position that whenever little tiny tab comes, if I ever have a little tiny tab, the little tiny tab will be set up for greatness because of the sacrifices that I made. Because when you're in college, you'll be thinking about, after that, you'll create a family, right? Anybody want a family? Think they kind of want a family? Y'all don't really know. I'm trying to figure out what I want to do when I grow up. But to those of y'all who want a family, I know it's crazy to think about it now, but some of the decisions that you make in the next 6 months, the next year, the next 2 years will affect that family that you want to create. It will affect the children that you want to bring into the world. Because say you make a decision in 6 months, 6 months, you'll be college. 8 months from now, you go to school, and you end up making that kid in 8 months, like now, right? So you have to leave. And not to say that you can't achieve, but what is that going to make? What is that going to make your path look like? It's going to be a little harder. Because I don't know, I don't have children yet, but I can imagine that trying to study and the crying baby is going to be kind of hard, right? So that was the decision that you made to have the kid. Or say you have it at 23, 24, 25, and you still hadn't quite figured out what you have going on, and you're still struggling a little bit, and you bring the child into the world, and now you're creating that same generational curse of struggling. But let's go back and say we don't make that decision, and we try to set ourselves up for greatness, and then we do set ourselves up for greatness. So when we decide to create that family, not only is our family okay, our family is now on a path to creating some generational wealth and some generational greatness. So I believe in networking. Like, networking is your net worth. Creating communities of people, whether they're people that you can reach out and touch, or they're people that you connect with online. I believe in networking, right? So I reached out to some of my network and I asked them 2 different groups. I asked in one group that's a combination of people who are successful but may or may not have gone to college, and then I asked in a group of people who all went to college. We're all people that are striving towards PhDs. And some concurrent things that they told me to share with you is, 1, money management and knowing about credit, knowing about how to, budget your money, how to make $1 out of 15 cents while you're young so that you don't get into financial problems. Because when you start applying for school and getting back those financial statements that say, oh, you can get $10,000 back. That doesn't mean take it, unless it's $10,000 in grants or scholarships. But if it's $10,000 extra dollars in loans, you cannot afford to pay it back, okay? So after you talk to me today, go and do some research on that, but you don't want to put yourself behind the grail before you even become an adult. There are plenty of people who leave college with 6 figures of student loan debt, and they're about to make $35,000. I'm going to make $35,000, but I owe somebody $100,000. How long is it going to take me to get to where I want to be? And then, the simplest of math problems of I'm making even if I'm making $45,000 as a 21-year-old, and I owe somebody $100,000, does it sound like it makes sense to y'all? No, that is why people stress the importance of applying for scholarships. That's why people stress the importance of finding ways to pay for school that aren't expensive, because a lot of times you get out of undergrad and then you want to go get a master's degree, or you want to go get a professional certificate, or you want to go get a doctorate. And if you're paying for that, you're starting to get yourself deeper in the hole. And if no one set up a way to pay for that for you, and you're the one carrying the burden, you got to look at how much you're going to make versus how much you're investing. Not saying that school isn't a good idea, but for some people it does make some sense to take time off and work, or to work instead of partying, because you know that you have to fund it yourself. You have to be realistic with your situation. That was another thing that they suggested. Knowing who you're surrounding yourself with. You might have a friend that her parents drop 3 stacks in her account every month, so she can go out, so she can eat, so she can put gas in the car, or she has a car, or he has a car to just have access to funds. You might have a friend who their parents dropped $3 in their account and tell them to figure it out because they decided to go to school. Or you might meet somebody that's somewhere in the middle. But what you have to do is be realistic with your situation and your finances. You don't have to tell nobody because I know finances is a tough topic, but what you do have to do is be aware of what you're getting yourself into. The next thing they said was to do mentorship, internships, find the people who are doing what it is that you want to do and become a student of them. Yes, you're a student in the college, and yes, you're there to learn, but find people who are doing exactly what it is that at that time you think you want to do and become a student of them. I had a professor, she said she had a business consulting firm or something when we were in class. I had absolutely no idea what that was at the time. And so I became not only was I her student in her class, but after I finished her class, I became a student of her. Like I found her on LinkedIn, I found her on Facebook, I found her website. I asked her if she needed help, so I went and volunteered at events. It didn't matter if I had to go to the event just to set the tables up. I wanted to be in the room, and it cost $1,000 to be in the room. I ain't have $1,000. I don't know if I had $10. So I was like, I want to be in the room, so I'll volunteer. Even now, there was a conference 2 months ago that I really wanted to go to, but the investment to go to the conference was a little bit out of Tiny Tab's budget. So I emailed somebody, and I was like, how do I get into this room? And they emailed me back and said, we need a little help that morning with breakfast. If you can come and set up, or if you know some students that can come and help us set up, that way you'll be there. Once breakfast is over, you're in the room for the rest of the day. 5 o'clock in the morning, me and that little white Altima was on the way to the convention center because I wanted to be in that room. A few months ago, I bumped into some emails because one of my email addresses I've had for a very long time. And I bumped into some emails from like 2011 and 2012, and I don't know, it was God ordained that day. I don't know if you believe in the Lord, but I'm faith, and y'all asked me to come, so if you don't believe in God, you kind of ignore this part. But it was definitely God ordained that I ran into those emails because at that moment, I needed to tap back into the early 20s tab because I was hungry, like really hungry. I had sent my resume out that night to like 18 people because I wanted an internship. I was trying to figure out how to break into this certain industry just simply because I wanted experience. Because I never really wanted to work for anyone for too long, but I realized if you take from what the greats are doing and implement it in your own way, you can kind of make it work. So I wanted the experience. So I sent my resume to 18 people that I did not know. I found their information on the internet, and I just sent it. I didn't get 18 replies. I think I got like 7 or 8. But if I had sent 0, then how many replies would I have gotten back? 0. So I say that to say when you're hungry and when you're looking for something, you find it. I preach, I love, I adore mentoring. I believe that it matters. I have several mentors in my life for different sectors of my life. I mentor several different types of people, but one thing remains constant. You have to want to be mentored. You have to want to learn. You can't force yourself on people, and you can't force people on you. Oprah, one of my mentors. I ain't never met Oprah, but I listen to her on YouTube and on TV, and I watch what she has done because she has created something phenomenal that has lasted the test of time. My grandma knew about Oprah. My mama knew about Oprah. I knew about Oprah, and I'm sure my child will know about Oprah. That's like 4 or probably 5 generations of greatness. And so I'm like, I need to figure out how she do that. Like, I don't need to necessarily have no Oprah following, but clearly she has the tactics to do something and do it well. So for you, it may not be an Oprah, it may not be a Tiny Tab, it may not be somebody in this room, but find your person, find your people that you feel like you want to be like, and you may not even ever tell them that they inspired you, but follow what they do, because clearly they do it well. And then take away from things that you see that you just don't like. And you don't ever have to say anything. Like how I said, raise your hand if you know someone who hates their job. I don't want you to go up to them and say, you know what, because you said you hated your job, you inspired me. I don't think that that's the best thing to do. But what I want you to do is take it inside of saying, I don't ever want to say that. I don't ever want to say I don't like my job. I don't ever want to say I wish I didn't have my kid. I don't ever want to say why we got to live here. I don't ever want to say why did my life happen like this. Yeah, there are some things that happen that just happen. The law of attraction. Good things are going to happen and bad things are going to happen. But when you make decisions that goals and decisions, more good things happen than bad things, and when bad things happen, you're prepared. the financial freedom that I talked about earlier, if you have an extra $10,000 and your tire goes out, guess what you just do? Go to the store, get a tire, get someone to put on the tire. If your tire goes out and you have no money, you're stressed, right? A tire going out isn't something that you plan for, but it isn't something that's like horrendously, outrageously unexpected. Sometime in your lifetime, a tire is going to go out. So I want you to be prepared for whenever the tires go out in life. Whenever the tires go out in your life, be prepared for that time. So I hope that you take from something that I said or from this program to make good decisions and set yourself up for greatness. Don't just say, oh, I want to be a nurse, but I ain't never been to a hospital before. How do you know you want to be a nurse? Or I want to be a teacher, but you ain't never been in a classroom except for as a student. How do you know you want to be a teacher? Don't waste 4 years chasing a dream that you don't even want. Take time within that first year, that second year to like actually go see what that person does. Or don't say I want to be an engineer because I heard they make a lot of money. You can make a lot of money making hair bows if you're really passionate about making hair bows. Because you're passionate about it and you like doing it, so you don't wake up and say you hate it. You make a whole lot of hair bows and you sell a whole lot of hair bows because you like hair bows. So, I know that was a very corny example, which I was looking at board, so I didn't get a little creative. But yeah, so I hope that you take something from me to say, set goals, be realistic with them, surround yourself with the right people, and learn from people. Ask people questions, become inquisitive. Ask older students questions when you're on campus and you join these organizations, because I know that's what y'all gonna do, and ask people questions. Like, how did you learn how to do such and such? Or how did you study abroad? Not enough black and brown boys and girls study abroad. So all we know about is America. The world is a lot bigger than America. The world is a lot bigger than South Carolina, but it's definitely a lot bigger than America. We don't have enough of us studying abroad. And they like to pay for us to study abroad because not a lot of us do it. So I challenge you to make that one of your goals as you go to these universities, to study abroad. Take a chance outside of the country. You're going to be going with people that are from America, so you will have some sort of familiarity. But studying abroad was one of the things that really opened my mindset to, wow, there's a lot out here. Oh, snap. Like, there's a lot out here.
Where did you go?
Where did I go? I went to the Bahamas, but not from a touristic experience. I went to the Bahamas as, like, a Bahama person. And now the U.S. has it, so it's not technically out of the country, but it was very humbling because they lived in, like, shacks. You kind of only went to school if you, like, she would go to school, but I wouldn't go to school because she's light-skinned and I'm dark-skinned, so it's more, she would be more prone to get a career opportunity. So if there's 3 kids, we ain't going to school, she going to school. If all y'all at the table, Hannah would probably be the one to go to school. If all of us in the room, he's going to school because he's a guy. So it was very humbling because in America, we take school for granted because we gotta go. Right? And I'm not just meaning school as in college, I mean school, like regular school. I would have just automatically become a little dark-skinned girl, do some side work, and then by the time I'm like 14 or 15, start making some kids. So it made me be more appreciative of what we have in America and the access to things that we have in America. When I went to the DR, it was the same thing. There was a lot of colorism. All the dark people were like servants. And the lighter people were in front of you. They were what you see. And then when you talk to them about how you're treated outside, there's a lot of crime. So how we just, we go to our house and we lock our house and we don't expect for anyone to come in because someone's coming in, then they're stealing from us because it's not their house. But in other countries, you might not even be able to lock your house. So when you leave to go out to work for the day, you take all of your belongings, right? So when you think about someone being able to take all of their belongings with them to work, that means they don't have what? A lot of belongings. Because if I'm able to take everything that's important to me with me to work, clearly I don't have a lot. So those are some of my experiences. I did it for 2 weeks in undergrad and then 3 weeks in grad school because I just simply couldn't afford to go for longer than that. But I did have some friends that did like a whole semester in a different country. I couldn't pay rent in Myrtle Beach and be in Spain. So I definitely do challenge you, whether that's only a few days or a long time, to just study abroad, become more aware. Exposure matters. Just like our black and brown kids don't study abroad, we don't take opportunities. Even, like I said, as an adult, when I was at that conference, there were 700 women in the room. Maybe 42 or 43 of them were of color. 700 professional women in a room, and 42 of them are black. Because we simply don't take opportunities. We don't take life seriously enough to go for what we want, because systematically we're trained to think that we can't, when we really can. So I challenge you guys to influence yourself as well as your friends, those around you, your generation, to just go for it. So what? It don't matter if you're the only one in the room, just go for it. So what if you don't think you can't do it? Do it scared. It don't matter. The first time you started walking, when you fell down, no one said, don't ever try to walk again. They kept encouraging you to walk. So in this journey, in these next 4 years, when you fail, just think about the little baby that had to keep walking. Just keep going. So that's it. I'm gonna stop now. Hope something was inspiring.
Does anyone have any more questions for Tab?
Oh, does anyone have a question? Ask me a question. Somebody better make up a question, because then I feel like I didn't tell you.
Let me think. Oh, God.
Any question. College, life, crazy stuff, it don't matter. Anything. Question.
What? I do got a question.
Go ahead. Because ain't nothing under the sun. You met me polished, but I ain't always been polished. Go
Okay,
ahead.
I know that you mentor, but what do you do for a living?
What do I do for a living? A lot of things. The primary thing is the business consulting. I told you I stopped my professor. So I help people take their idea from like baby idea to big person idea. So that means figuring out how to fund it, figuring out how to market it, figuring out how to make it be what it is you want it to be. I'm also an author. I do a lot of community service, so I sit on about 4 or 5 boards in the community to make sure that people are doing what they say that they're supposed to do. And I speak. I speak at conferences, I speak in corporate trainings, I speak in schools. And so sometimes I do those for fun and for free, and then sometimes I do them for a lot of money. So that's what I do.
And you love it.
Love it. I wake up even when my life is a hot mess, because it's a hot mess sometimes, because that's a lot. It be a lot going on in my head. My brain don't ever shut off. I'm always awake.
Okay.
But even if I'm asleep, I'm like always awake. Always things going on. Thinking about how I could have done something better. Like I'll get in my car and be like, dang, I wish I should have told him that. Oh my God, why didn't I tell him that? My brain never shuts off. So I get anxiety attacks a lot. But I do wake up every single morning and look at me and be like, girl, I love you. Like, you the bomb. Like, you off the chain. Like, I'm so proud of you. Because when I was y'all age, I was a hot mess, but I was also just very scared because I wanted to be successful so bad. I had goals, but they weren't like, I want to be X when I grow up. It was just like, I want to be successful. Like, how do you be successful? Like, what in the world does success even mean? Like, I was Googling, like, what is success? Simply because when I was like 5 or 6, I saw these people in the airport, and they was dressed up. I was on my way from Jersey back to South Carolina, and they were just dressed up. They were walking fast. They had laptops. And I was like, so, yeah, I do all of those things and record videos, and I'm a podcaster. So I do a combination of things, but I love them all. And I'm good at them simply because I worked very, very hard in my early 20s. I took jobs that I didn't want to do so that I could learn. I worked for people that were so rude to me because I was young, I was black, I was Southern. So I say, good morning, y'all. And they like, watch you talk like that. I'm loud, I'm energetic. But I don't care, you gotta like me, I'm here to learn. And I'm here to get my coins. That's it. You gotta like me, respect me.
Amen.
When you first in college, did you like know what you wanted to do?
Had no idea. Had no idea. I knew I wanted to do something in business. And then, so I was a business management major. And then I said, ooh. I learned about resort tourism, and I started looking up tourism. And I was in Myrtle Beach. So the resort tourism major had required internships. So I was like, if I major in that, I know I'm going to get an internship because I have to graduate. So it kind of forced me into that space. And then I started looking up tourism. People go on vacations, and people eat out, and people do things in the tourism realm. No matter if the economy's down, no matter if the economy's up, no matter what happens, it's not going away. And so that's why I stayed in that realm. And so now, like, I don't work in hospitality because I never wanted to. I want to own hotels. I don't want to work in them. So my big girl dreams is to own like a hospitality firm. So that is kind of why I majored in what I majored in. But I had no idea what I wanted to do. I just knew I wanted to be successful. And I got a degree from Coastal in business, hospitality tourism. But what I really got a degree in was experiences, exposures, and organizations, because I took every opportunity that they wanted to give me. A part of me does wish I would have went to an HBCU for the experience and the culture, but I'm not. Me now, I would be focused enough, but me at 18, I wouldn't have been focused enough for all of the things that HBCUs offer. I would have been trying to do this and that and the third, and I would have forgot all about doing the work. So, no, to answer your question, I had absolutely no idea. Any questions over here? Anybody else?
I do have one.
Yeah, sure.
You're like going to coastal. I know like get like for yourself,
Ooh,
get
we can see
internships.
phone cases at mine is dirty. Go coastal. Okay, go ahead.
Like yeah, to find internships for yourself, but like that even like help you.
Yeah, they help you. So there's a career center that helps you, and this is not just a coastal answer. This is any university. There's a career center that helps, and then there's online, like career-wise. You can go online, you can type in what you're looking for, and you can find all the things. All of this is new. Back in my day, and actually go to the office and set an appointment and find out. I sit back in my day like I was so. But the website wasn't as user-friendly, but the website is very user-friendly. But you can also schedule an appointment with like a career advisor in the career center, and they'll help you find jobs. Anybody else got a question?
Not a question, it's a statement. You did really good.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. All right, y'all.
My name is Jolisha Blue. I attend Dillon High School in Dillon, South Carolina. On this past Sunday, I was given the chance to hear Tabitha share some of her college experiences, and I liked it because it motivated me and it gave me an insight on, you know, how to get to where I need to go, and I always have a plan. And she made me feel like since she can do it, I can do it too, and that's basically what I got from her presentation.
I want to thank Tabitha Tiny Tab James for coming and speaking to #CAPS, who did an amazing job. I went home and spoke with my daughter, my junior, about what her goals are, because I even rethought my goals. Did an amazing job, kept the students engaged, and really had me thinking, you know, is there something that I can do differently? Even from where I am in life right now, I was truly amazed and truly blessed by the words that she spoke upon our young people. It was a pleasure, a joy to have. Thank you so much, Tabitha.